Now let's talk about these excessive charges by Nigerian banks, and the Senate is calling on the CBN to suspend, as the Central Bank of Nigeria, to suspend bank charges on automated teller machines.
Well, it's also directed banks to reconfigure their systems to allow 40,000 naira per withdrawal. Now, the resolution was on the strength of a motion on illicit and excessive charges by Nigerian banks on customers' accounts, with particular reference to ATMs and withdrawal charges as well.
And the Senate also urged the Consumer Protection Council to look into various complaints of excessive and unnecessary charges by banks.
Worried that most banks have deliberately manipulated their ATM machines not to dispense more than 10,000 per withdrawal in some cases, and in most cases not more than 20,000 per withdrawal at the ATM. Further worried that this is a deliberate ploy to manipulate the ATM machines, which are ordinarily manufactured to dispense as much as 40,000 per transaction, in order to attract more bank charges from customers who are forced to carry out more transactions due to the manipulated machines. Worried that it appears the CBN is becoming insensitive to the plight of Nigerians who are already complaining of excessive charges by commercial banks.
What we are saying is that we should stop ripping Nigeria off their hard-earned money. This is what these ATM are used for. Go to the issue of money of those who are dead, that is in the banks. And I believe the Committee on Banking should go after all this investigation. This is just one out of them. Billions of naira, trillions of naira have gone down the drain as a result of transactions like this. I will be supporting this motion in its entirety.
The issue of even the banking system in Nigeria, sir, is not encouraging us. Last few weeks, I took out statement of my account and I complained to my banker. They looked at it. They say, yeah, there are some errors and some funds were returned to me. So that's people like us, like Senator Bocha, who has also complained to the bank and got his money refunded. How many Nigerians can go to the bank and request for refund of the money taken unnecessarily by the banks?
All right, we still have Otun Ojon with us in the studio, leadership and communications strategist. That you saw how Senator Lamileko
very passionately
Adiola was passionate about the whole thing, because it's about every Nigerian. Everyone is affected, and people have fallen victims many times, lamenting how their monies have been withdrawn arbitrarily by some banks in the country. So how timely, first off, is this motion moved by Senator Shafa?
It is actually extremely timely. And because it is not just about the senators now, this is one of the issues that affect a whole lot of us as a people. Because we are complaining about poverty, and they told us that we should keep our money in the bank. The banks come practically to convince you to put your money there. But they will never tell you, riding on the promise that at the end of the day, you are going to have interest on your money. But at the end of the day, you are only doing business for them. Now, one of the senators mentioned something. Apart from the fact that they have reduced the amount that you can withdraw, if you are using your own parent ATM, your own bank, you can withdraw up to 20,000. 20,000 naira. That's what's operation now. But if you're using another
40,000 naira in another bank, that I know. Another bank, you can still withdraw at once 40,000 naira.
My own bank is 20,000
My
own bank is 20,000 naira. But if I go to use another ATM, I will not get to withdraw up to 20,000. I'll get to withdraw about 10,000. And the agreement between CBN and the banks initially was that if somebody uses another ATM for 3 times, then you have to deduct 65 naira. But you just discover that at every point in time that you use, I have one very close to my office, that at if you go there to remove 2,000 naira, they will charge you 65 naira on one transaction. And even your own bank, they decided to reduce it to 20,000 naira. In my own case, because I was thinking about it, I can withdraw up to 150,000. So anytime I want to carry out a heavy transaction that I do not need to use check, if I go to my ATM, it shows that I will have to withdraw up to 5, 6, or 7 times. Calculate the amount of money they are going to remove from my account as a result of sending text messages to alert me that I've made a withdrawal. So when you look at...
Since they know they can't charge you...
Since they cannot charge me using it, they deliberately bring it down so that they can continue to charge me on the alert they give to me. So if you narrow everything down, I'm sorry, I have to say the reality. The reality is that Nigerian banks are actually surviving on corruption, either from government or stealing from the people.
There you go. And you heard one of the senators there actually say that it seems the CBN, that should be the regulatory body, is not sensitive to the plight of Nigerians. To allow this to go on for this long.
Yes.
And really, is it a case of the amount that is being deducted or the way the banks are going about it illegally without the say-so of their customers? Is that really what people should be quarreling about?
You see,
because when you calculate that 650 times,
naira.
that's about 65 naira, about 600 a year.
You see, I will have to blame the CBN because you will think it's not possible until you see another agency of government do it. And I'm going to cite an example of NCC. NCC, if you want to recharge, if you want to buy that data from many of these network providers, once you buy, for people that buy 100 naira data, for example, and they say it lasts you for 1 day, when you buy now, immediately the data elapses the second day, they give you automatic renewal. That was what they were doing until NCC came and said, no, you can't continue to give people automatic renewal. Let them show interest, that let them decide. And within a short period of time, these people make changes. Now they will ask you.
But have they really made changes?
Yes,
about
my
network,
my own
I
network.
can tell you as a victim, I continue to be a victim till today.
Okay, maybe it's
I
your
load
network.
an average of 1,000, 2,000 a day before the next day it's gone, and you wonder where.
No, I'm not talking about making calls. I'm talking about
renewal.
data, for example.
They'll ask you.
Yes,
they will ask you now
you,
if you want.
Do you want to
automatic?
renew,
Thank you.
or do you want to automatically renew? Press 1.
Exactly.
If you want
Press
a
2.
off, press 2. But this is some of the things that I think are innovative. At least an agency of government has been able to do that, showing that if CBN had the willpower, they can do it. What CBN has been able to do over the time, because unfortunately, you are bringing some of these people to head the CBN from the banking system. So they understand that maybe the Nigerian banking system is not innovative enough to be able to sustain itself without monies from corrupt quarters or stealing directly from the
not
Nigerian
necessarily
people.
the
Now,
corrupt
unfortunately,
yeah, maybe because they're not giving loans to SMEs, for example, for the SMEs to turn business around, make money.
Unfortunately, you know why they continue to do it? Unfortunately, I'm careful to use the word responsible. Nigerians, when it comes to fiscal responsibility, we do not have it as individuals. That's why we are reckless at the level of government. For example, how many of us seated here now, we go back to bank because of 15 naira and go demand and say, this is 15 naira is missing. I want you to pay my money back.
Because it's a waste of time.
Well,
and you will not get justice.
An official of the CBN, talked about the CBN's guide to bank charges circular that every Nigerian customer is supposed to have. That if, like you said, if they deduct 15 naira, demand and ask question, why has this money been deducted from my account? But we're talking about being aware. We're talking about Nigerians. Do they even regard Nigerian customers first off? Because every customer is supposed to have an account officer. Do you have an account officer?
I don't know.
No, people feel it's millionaires and billionaires that have account
officers.
But really, because many of us can actually, and I need us to take our destinies by our hands, because we cannot continue to work for some people, and at the end of the day, they take our money. You know why they will not take my money? Because I'm going to leave Ikorodu where I live and travel all the way to the island to go ask questions about the 400 naira that you deduct from my account. It's not because I want to do it, but because I want everybody to know that I actually worked for this money.
But if you told a friend before going to, your friend will tell you, you have time.
Of
because
course, that's why
what you said earlier.
Because after all, it will cost you more to
go there.
To go from Ikorodu to the island, for example.
That's why I think as a people, we should be willing to take some risk, not for ourselves, but for
take a stand
for the good of the larger society.
Yes.
Now, apart from all these things that we talk about, apart from the charges here and there, let's talk about the issue of loans. Now, you tell an average person to come deposit money. You deposit money in the bank with the promise that, like I said the other time, that they were going to get interest. And at the end of the day, you give the money to the big and the mighty in the society. And the big and the mighty in the society do not get to pay back the loan. Now you write it as bad debt. The government is struggling with that. So from the angle of government, I think government is not doing enough.
And the CPC too, the Consumer Protection Council, how much are they doing?
It's a component of government. Because at the end of the day, they are even overwhelmed. Because when you have problem with NEPA, you're a PSN, you run with them. When you have, and there's problem this is a country that when you wake up, the first thing you see is an issue. Either an issue that you pay the electricity bill and you are not seeing light, or an issue that you get onto your road, you can't drive a very good road. So because we are a people of 1 minute, one issue, we cannot continue to put all these issues on CPC. That is why regulatory agencies that are supposed to take steps, let them take steps.
That's it. I wonder what steps and how soon they will take the steps in spite of the intervention of the committee has been set of the Senate. All right, Dr. Ojo, thank you very much for joining us, leadership and communication strategists.